2013. Came out on Valentine's Day. Oh, they have one of the better pictures of this movie. I guess they have trouble selling this one because it was a box office dud. You can see that it got a 15% Rotten Tomatoes, and then moviegoers only 40% ratings. So there's terrible ratings. Um, yeah, the worst in the Die Hard series. Yeah, I think so. I think that goes without saying. So typically, as a lifelong Die Hard fan, when did I become a Die Hard fan? It was back when I was a kid, like 1988, 1989. So that's when I was a Die Hard fan, pretty much for life. Um, yeah, but it doesn't mean when I was 10, I was too busy being 10, and in 1990, so I didn't see Die Hard 2. It wasn't. Yeah, I was just enjoying being 10. When you're 10, you just really enjoy being 10. So I guess a lot happened in between Die Hard 1 and Die Hard 2 personally. So my stepfather died, my first one. And you know, so a lot of shit was going on. We moved to a new place in Pasadena, South Houston, Texas. And so there were a lot of changes. Me and my mom moved in with my aunt and my cousin. And so we were just trying to reestablish ourselves. And, part of that process, go through the post grieving process and start a new life, try to start it out fresh in a new city, in a new environment. And and plus just being 10 years old, you want to do 10-year-old things. And of course, part of that is watching movies. But it's kind of like the last gasp of childhood is like when you're 10. So I was going full childhood mode and kind of like out of Die Hard 2. Die Harder is it's like a complex military type airport thriller. And I appreciate it now. But when I was 10 years old, I really didn't appreciate it. And so, but now I really do respect and like Die Hard 2, Die Harder. So, yeah. So, for instance, when I was 10 years old, I was going to see, I was watching Nickelodeon, and I was watching a lot of childish cartoons, because I was 10 and in 1990 back then. So, yeah. That is like 10 years old is like the last time of childhood, more or less, and then it goes into the teenage, and then you kind of get more interested into adult goings ons after that. So plus maybe I think maybe Die Hard 2, Die Harder was too derivative, and was trying to tie into the first one. Maybe I don't think too much, but it was kind of its own thing in a lot of ways. But it was some of the characters and some of the things felt carryover from the first movie, and and then I went for my first Die Hard movie, Die Hard with a Vengeance, and then I was ready for that Die Hard again. I was really ready, and it's kind of Die Hard 3 with a Vengeance really doesn't tie into Die Hard 2 that much. Holly is mentioned, but it's said that Holly McClane and John McClane are separated. And so, I don't think they really talk about his children, Lucy and Jack. So, all right. Yeah, they were saying that a lot of the protagonists in movies, they're called traditional masculine names like John and Jack and James, and traditional masculine names, or especially John and Jack. Yeah, Jack Reacher, Jack Ryan. Yeah. They're also called Sam a lot, especially the Greek Samson and those kind of movies. The toga wearing movies, there's a lot of Sams. That's an old school traditional masculine name. But yeah, there's quite a bit of Johns and Jacks, and it's no big deal. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of Bill Hicks' old comedy routine. He says, "Well, when I try to get at any party, I just say, 'Oh, I know John.'" That's kind of like that. Yeah, kind of generic, but it works for a movie if you're making Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit, or Jack Reacher. It works. So this one, um, Jai Courtney plays Jack McClane, and in the previous movie, we were introduced to Mary Elizabeth Winstead in the 2007's Live Free or Die Hard as Lucy McClane. So I think I want to say that are their names mentioned in the original Die Hard. I thought that they were, but they do show the boy and the girl saying "mommy," that sort of thing. Where's Daddy on the harassing news network in the original film from 1988. So, um, yeah, I think Die Hard with a Vengeance is when I really got back into it, and the way Die Hard with a Vengeance connects to the Die Hard franchise is that Simon Gruber is Hans Gruber's brother, the villain who died in the first Die Hard. So Die Hard with a Vengeance is the first movie without Reginald Val Johnson, Sergeant Powell, the first one to not feature Bonnie Bedelia, and the connecting tissue of John McClane's life. And he's just, so after that, he's sidekicks or he's with his children. So in Die Hard with a Vengeance, it's a sidekick. And then the 2007 Live Free or Die Hard, it's Justin Long, the good ethical hacker, and he's a neo. And then you have Mary Elizabeth Winstead as his daughter that he has to save. So he has to save his daughter, save his family, like he saves his wife in the first one for that, like emotional core. So you root for the protagonist more when they're saving their daughter or saving their wife or saving their son or something, because it's very heroic, right? So for Hollywood films, to have the protagonist be a virtuous hero, fighting for his family or fighting to save innocent lives, and fighting against terrorists or bank robbers, corporate thieves, etc., etc. Wall Street thieves, cyber terrorists, etc., etc. Yeah, cyber terrorist. And this one, it's so the first film is Die Hard. It's bank robbers, basically, but they seem like terrorists because they're a heavily armed group and they're highly organized and all that. And they take hostages on the Nakatomi building, Nakatomi Plaza, in Century City, Los Angeles, out in California. So in the first movie, the villain's motivation is to get $600 million, basically, from the Nakatomi Corporation. A synergy between Japanese and American workers, people. So then the second one, the villain wants to get a third world dictator to safety, a defecting colonel and other various ex-military or defecting military want to get General Esperanza to safety, and he's going to be. I figure that there's money involved, that they're going to get paid really well and go off to the islands, kind of like Hans Gruber wants to go off to the islands, but they take control of the Washington D.C. Dulles Airport, and they hold the planes hostage by not providing them lights for a runway, and make the planes circle around Dulles Airport so that they run out of fuel dangerously. And if the airport security or police, airport authorities, or any kind of authorities mess with these terrorists, then they start killing people on the planes. So because they control the systems that guide the planes, so they'll start killing innocent civilians. And John McClane's got to save the civilians, and then he's got to save his wife, Holly, Bonnie, played by Bonnie Bedelia. So that's the motivation for Die Hard to Die Harder from 1990. 1995, Die Hard with a Vengeance. Jeremy Irons' character, Simon Gruber, wants to exact revenge on John McClane for killing his brother, and also steal gold from the New York Stock Exchange on Wall Street. And he wants to steal from the criminals, the legal criminals, right? So imagine if I would have laughed if that was the plot to a 2007 Die Hard film, because there was Occupy Wall Street and the Great Recession of 2007 to 2009. So that would have been pretty hilarious, I think. Show an armed terrorist criminal gang taking over Wall Street, kind of like Bane in The Dark Knight Rises from 2012. So the financiers and the bankers and the ultra rich and the bicoastal elites, the ones that own, they're called the Wall Street traders and bankers, and wealthy folks are called the masters of the universe. And so, yeah, they've been traditionally called the masters of the universe. And Obama bailed out all the banks, Barack Hussein Obama, in the economic recession, 2007 to 2009. So the government bailed out the organizations and institutions which put us in an economic a recession in the first place. So by printing money to cover those errors, instead of letting the banks and the economy take the hit, the Federal Reserve printed more money, and they bailed out the banks and the institutions that screwed us over in the first place. So, yeah. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. That's all on the pipe. That's what happened. So now we're to, this country has $37 trillion worth of debt, and part of that is the hangover from the bailout party of Barack Hussein Obama and the Democrat Party, and Barack Hussein Obama, Biden, and that's part of that hangover from the economic recession. Yeah, they make videos if you're interested. It's called "The Recession Still Hurts Us Today," the damage that was done to the U.S. economy, and the financial, psychological, and physical devastation that it did to America. Yeah, very bad. So terrible. Too big to fail, I guess. That's the old saying. So by 2013, 20th Century Fox wants to make another Die Hard movie. By the time it's 2011, 2012. These things are taking longer and longer to get off the ground by the time 2013 rolls around. But finally, we get a new Die Hard. So I'm pumped, because I've been watching Live Free or Die Hard, Die Hard 4, or Die Hard 4.0 as it's called. And so I'm pumped. And yeah, I'm ready. I'm hoping for a great fifth outing, right? So then I'm getting pumped, and I'm really pumped because it's coming out on Valentine's Day on February 14th, 2013. I think that's so funny to release like a really violent action movie, Die Hard movie on Valentine's Day. I think that's inspired, right? Would it have been more successful if it was released during the summer? Maybe they would have made more money if it was released during the summer, but they could have been squashed by competition if the movie sucked. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I think Die Hard during the summer blockbuster movie season, even if Bruce Willis is getting old, like Harrison Ford, I think that's one of the smartest moves you could do. I think it's inspired to release a big action movie, action adventure movie on Valentine's Day. I think that's funny, like ironic. But since that's supposed to be a day of romance and love and all those things for couples and the male and the female sex to be romantic and all that. Uh, but yeah. So I do think I don't know if it's smart from a business perspective, but I like the irony of releasing a Die Hard movie on Valentine's Day. Like the irony of Valentine's Day is what I really enjoy about it. Like the Saint Valentine's Day massacre, the irony of that. Unfortunately, mass shooters know the irony too of Valentine's Day. So yeah, not just Alfonso Al Capone, uh, where he pretended to be his men tried pretended to be police officers, and then they massacred his rival gang of Bugsy Siegel back in Chicago, back in the gang days of Prohibition. Yeah, people fight over alcohol today, but it's if alcohol is illegal, then it would just create like kind of a mini civil war within the United States because people will go to war over drinking. So, I mean, that's just the truth. And so we've seen it in this country, and it's really bad because a lot of people would be dead over that. Um, Prohibition was a bad idea because people wanted to have the freedom to drink. Um, Sometimes, not excessively, not till all your organs fail, not until you're in the hospital or in massive debt or you fight people or you're in jail or, whatever. Not for the negative consequences, accidentally drinking and driving and killing a family or anything. It's not a defense of those things. Those things are awful. But the freedom to do it responsibly is what really, yeah, Americans were fighting for. The freedom to have the booze legal. Yeah, not really voting for not rooting for the negative consequences of alcohol, but for the liberty of it. That's more the point. So, and the freedom not to be terrorized by gangsters and rampant violence over illegal alcohol sales and distribution and production. So, yeah, it's that liberty thing. It's that freedom thing. What people do with their freedom and their liberty, that's what's, either the net benefit or the consequence. So, but people can't handle rights and liberties and responsibilities. And that's where the problems come in. If they can handle it, that's cool. But if they can't, oh shit, take it or leave it. Um, Live free or die hard. Die Hard 4. So we'll bring it back to Die Hard. Um, yeah. So, uh, as you can tell, the final Die Hard movie is a drag. It's not. In fact, the commercial of the Die Hard batteries, where it had the black guy coming back, the computer dude from the 1988 movie, who was not killed, he was arrested, and him plotting revenge against John McClane and going from the and he had these armed thugs and then you have John McClane crawling through the store and he sees all the Die Hard batteries, and then the reason why he's and then I think they even have the limo driver, the black guy, Argyle from the first movie. I was like, why didn't they fucking do that? Why didn't they do that? I mean, it's cheesy enough that Hans Gruber's brother comes back, but they should have just went, yeah, the black guy, the It's like the information age. Have the computer guy be like a big computer wizard. Like at first he's just some low level hacker, bank robber, and then like in the future when he gets out of prison, he's like some super mastermind or something. He wants to get rid, or he's been planning his life to get revenge on John McClane. Like finally he got on parole for good behavior, and instead of like 30 years, he's getting like 15 years, or maybe he's got 20 years, but finally he gets out, right? And then he starts his elaborate plot to destroy John McClane and his family or terrorize the city. And because he's the evil mastermind. That would have been a great Die Hard movie, right? Like the Die Hard battery commercial. That would have done it. And then maybe had Bonnie Bedelia come back as his wife. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and maybe Jai Courtney as his son. Make it a whole family affair, Die Hard, where he's got to help save everybody or they help each other. Like a family adventure. That would have been pretty cool, right? And then Reginald Val Johnson comes back, and there's all these surprising twists and turns for the franchise. Like it's like everything comes like so. The final Die Hard is like full circle. Like that's what the fans wanted to see, like a full circle, like a closure. But we didn't get the Die Hard battery commercial. We got Jai Courtney playing Jack McClane, and he's got into trouble. He's been arrested in Russia for helping this guy. I think he's called Lavrov or something. And yeah, so it's a Russian plot. Yeah. So fucking Russia. Yeah. So John McClane must go try to rescue his son. Mary Elizabeth Winstead's hot ass shows up for a little bit to wish him well at the airport. Um, and so, and she's like, try not to cause a big mess, will you? He goes, yeah, sweetheart. So you see her sweet ass they paid her for, I guess, about 10 minutes of screen time at the beginning and then at the end, reuniting with her brother and her father. But still, no Holly, no Bonnie Bedelia, even though the rest of the family, I don't know why. Is she refusing to do it? Is she not getting paid enough money? Or are the writers just writing her out? So I'm not really sure what's going on. Or the executives saying, no more Holly for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe she's the holdout. I don't know. But she never returns after Die Hard 2, Die Harder. She was like, nah, I mean, for some reason, maybe she had kids. Maybe she just cared about her kids and grandkids and married a rich dude and they live on a ranch and, maybe she doesn't want to have to do it. Maybe she quit Hollywood or something like that. Or, yeah, she didn't want to be in popcorn movies for the rest of her life or some shit. I don't know exactly what happened, but Holly never came back, unfortunately. And, So, but the 20th Century Fox and they have always hoped that people would return and see a Die Hard movie if Bruce Willis was in it, so that would keep the people coming back or get the people hyped that Bruce Willis was in the movie. So, Jai Courtney, I keep watching the movie. I keep watching the Jack Reacher, and I keep thinking this is such a great movie. Not because Rosamund Pike's hot as hell and all that. I mean, that's evident. But, I mean, that's been evident for years that Rosamund Pike is like a mega babe. And, yeah. But the movie's great. It's like got a great story. It's got great action. It's got a great character, Jack Reacher. It's really good. It's a really good one. Maybe Jack Reacher Never Go Back was not that great, but they have Colby Smothers or whatever her name. That Colby they have that really hot like brunette chick in it. So I don't know if that'll keep you watching, but just watching a babe. Yeah, from the Avengers movies and Shield. Yeah, yeah. Maybe you don't like Jack Reacher Never Go Back, but oh wait, Sandy in Jack Reacher is like this mega hot blonde chick, and then there's Rosamund Pike, who's fucking stunning. So this Jack Reacher movie has like babes all in it, but actually an amazing performance. And a lot of people they know that Channing Tatum can't act. He's just there to be muscle and be man buns. Okay, Jai Courtney, he's in there for sex appeal. I don't think he's a great actor. Channing Tatum, these are kind of similar guys, right? Like Channing Tatum, Jai Courtney, big muscular fucking cut dudes that can't act worth a fucking shit. And Dwayne Robinson can't act worth a shit, or Dwayne the Rock Johnson, he can't act worth a fucking shit, and neither can Mark Wahlberg act. But these guys are continually in movies for some reason. I mean, I guess, except for Mark Wahlberg, he's not really a muscle, a jack dude. It's a mystery how that guy got so many movies. He's not a great actor. He's not really that appealing. I guess he's that like middle of the road, like average dad kind of thing. And, he had the New Kids on the Block, and, he just segued into Hollywood. He got lucky that he was like that every guy thing, I guess, was the everyday average Joe kind of thing. But to me, there's nothing really remarkable about Mark Wahlberg. To me, he's always been lame and average. It's kind of like Coldplay albums. It's always been lame and average, but you wonder why people keep buying it. It's always been subpar. And it's like just lame, mediocre actors and mediocre musicians. And you just wonder that's all they could produce in human society, really? And you're like, so, but they keep on keeping on for some reason. They keep getting checks. They keep getting deals. They keep getting movies. And you're like, how? Who's buying this? Who's going out and buying the Coldplay record? Who the fuck is going to the new rock movie? Like, who are these people that are going out to the latest Mark Wahlberg movie? I have no idea who these people are. It will never be me anymore. Maybe back in 2005, I would buy a Coldplay record and I'd go see a rock movie. I'd go see Doom, and then I'd go buy X and Y by Coldplay. But those days are long, long, long fucking gone. So, yeah. So Jai Courtney does an incredible job in Jack Reacher as the henchman. I mean, a fabulous job. He was so great at playing a ruthless henchman. Wonderful. He had the build, he had the bod, he was ruthless, he was cold. It was fucking incredible sideman. As a henchman, it was perfect. If you had your protagonist, you had Tom Cruise, or you had if you had Bruce Willis, or maybe even The Rock, going up against a big fucking dude in a fight, and it was Jai Courtney, and he was big and ripped and he looked menacing, that would be pretty badass, as it was in Jack Reacher. That was pretty cool. They don't want to see Jai Courtney fighting Mark Wahlberg. He doesn't look like he can fight. He looks like just short and average and skinny. He doesn't look very tough at all. But yeah, Tom Cruise. Yeah, I know he's short, but he's really keeps in shape. Yeah, it's believable that he could kick a little ass. Maybe even a dude who's bigger than him and maybe more cut, more ripped. And so it's pretty cool. But then I saw, I started to read reviews before I went to go spend money on a movie. So I know that's kind of like, that's just a symptom of the internet age. You hear a movie's going to be garbage and it doesn't make that much money, and the critics pan it and the audiences pan it, and then you're just like, you're getting hyped about a new Die Hard movie, but then you hear, oh, it sucks. And you start reading the reviews, and then maybe the YouTube reviews on it, YouTubers, and then they say it's like a 2-star movie. Maybe you watch, maybe you read the Chicago Sun-Times, uh, review of that. And yeah. So then you get all this feedback that this movie sucks. Don't go spend your money on it. And so I was like, oh, this movie sucks. But I'm a diehard fan. Well, shouldn't you go see it? Yeah, but everybody in the world told you that it sucked. Like almost every person told you it sucked. So it would be. So I was like, well, you know, yeah. Would I rather pay rent or go see Good Day to Die Hard? And I was like, well, I'd rather have internet and electricity and food, and I'd rather have a place to stay. So that's what I decided to do. Was to pay rent and my bills instead of going to see A Good Day to Die Hard. And I was like, whew. And then I decided, well, if it's a turd, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to watch it on cable because I paid my cable and my internet bill. So, that's what I'm going to do. So that's what I did. I got old man about it. I knew this old man named Phil, and he would first be a pirate, and he would rip off movies. He would rip them off through DVDs. He would get illegal downloads, and then he'd rip DVDs of big movies, and he'd rip them for his friends and family. And he was, one of those classic kind of, cheapskate. Oh, I'm gonna steal all my entertainment kind of dudes. And so, plus he wasn't going to go out to movies anymore. He hadn't been out to movies in like 20 years. He was like retirement age, like 67, 70. And so he would say, well, if there's a movie I want to see, I just wait till it comes out on Netflix or cable. Yeah, that's what he was doing. He was doing piracy. Not through illegal downloads, through early Netflix. He was getting the DVDs and then he was burning them all. So, and then sending the Netflix movies back when they used to ship out DVDs. But, obviously it's all digital now. So it's hard to pirate that stuff because you have no physical copies. And so my sailor buddy, retired engineer and pirate of the Merchant Marines, of the former Merchant Marines, he would burn us DVDs and stuff. That's probably why we don't have a big DVD collection, unfortunately, is because he lived next door and was burning us movies that we were burning to see. And I kind of wish I had a bigger DVD collection, though, unfortunately. Yeah. So we have a okay DVD collection, but with Mr. Pirate, I wish I had like the original boxes and copies though, instead of just pirated DVDs everywhere. So that's neither here nor there. That's just how it went down. But so I kind of thought, well, that's an old man way to approach entertainment, because when you're young, you're like, man, I gotta have it now. Oh, I gotta see Batman 2, or oh, I gotta go see the latest Lord of the Rings, or oh man, I gotta have it now. I gotta go see the Star Trek now. I gotta go to the Star Wars 10. I have to now. And it's like everything has to be now. I want it now. And when you're older, you're like, you know what? Do I need food, or do I need to go see what Batman's up to? Well, probably I need food. So, do I need a house, or do I need to see what Captain Kirk is doing? So, obviously the priorities. It's like, well, do I need oxygen, or would I like to see Frodo? Well, it's like, yeah. Should I see the Skywalkers, or should I have a car? Yeah, so that's what they call it, priorities, right? So, priorities. So I learned this old man method of entertainment. It's called waiting. So if you really want to see a movie, you wait. If you're interested in a movie, you wait until it comes to cable, and it doesn't involve Netflix piracy. But you wait until it comes home, so you can download it, stream it. You just wait a year or two until it comes, and then If that fucker, yeah, I noticed that the Hollywood studios and the streaming platforms are getting more clever. They're not letting you like James Bond was $20 from MGM Plus, and it was No Time to Die, and then so it came out in 2022, and then so I thought, well, if I use the old man method, I can get it for reduced price or maybe even free with the cable. What they did on MGM Plus with James Bond, No Time to Die, they were kind of privy to this, that people were just going to wait. Like, if you want to see the exploits of James Bond in the final Daniel Craig James Bond movie, then you're going to have to pay for it. Pay 10, 20 bucks and so forth. So, let's do this. No Time to Die. So they were, okay, I bought it, but I bought it for $20. So they were smart making you purchase it. Okay. I'm sorry, it came out in 2021. But in 2022, it was $20. 2023 is $20. And it still might be $20 right now. So the only reason why it doesn't say $19.99 on here is because me and my family purchased it. But a good day to Die Hard. Yeah, there we go. Got Willis, Jai Courtney, and they put the hot Russian chick on here in leather because they put a hot chick in black leather, so that maybe, I guess they hope that would increase sales if you saw a lady's butt cheeks and black leather. They're hoping by saying, hey, there's hot girls in here, that people are gonna buy and rent the movie. What is it now? It's okay. Buy $14.99, rent $3.99. Well, do you really own it? Because if you lose your cable subscription, don't you lose the movie too? I mean, that's the difference between digital, electronic media and physical media. Is that, do you really own it though? I mean, you will own nothing and be happy, like Charles, like Klaus Schwab. You will own nothing and be happy. Eat the bugs. We will own you. You will own nothing and be happy. The World Economic Forum. Yeah. But we will control all the methods of your life. And if you oppose us, we'll just turn everything off. Because you'll be hopelessly addicted to the electronics and to the luxuries. I love that. You will eat nothing. I mean, I'm sorry. You will eat the bugs. You will own nothing and be happy. Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum. Now that's a real villain right there, George Soros. Those are like real world villains. More scarier than any James Bond villains, I'll say that. Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin. Those people are a lot more frightening than any political or terrorist thriller villains you could think of, basically. More frightening than Remy Malik in No Time to Die. So, we haven't even gotten into The Good Day or Die Hard. Yeah, really getting into the movie itself, talking about other things, related in or around into it. So I told you what my dream Die Hard movie finale would be. It would be like, maybe it would be tied into the first movie. Holly would make an appearance if he was able, and I think Reginald Val Johnson at one point was at least 10 or so years ago able-bodied enough and could do another Die Hard movie. My dream Die Hard movie would be with Holly coming back, Sergeant Powell, and a villain from the first Die Hard movie getting revenge on John McClane, very much like the Die Hard battery commercial, starring and having Argyle come back, the limo driver. Why not? And they could play rap and make funny jokes and shit like that too. Okay. It would be kind of hilarious. Argyle's older, and then you have John McClane's older, and then Argyle's like, "You still having trouble with your wife?" But it's been like 40 years later or some shit. That'd be pretty funny. So it would have been a great So the idea of closure, the idea of full circle, that whole idea of completion, the idea of, wow, everything came back around, everything is organized, everything's complete. That's what they call a feeling of closure, like a rape victim or a shooting victim or something. It's the feel, or somebody who's at peace with their wartime or something like that. It's a sense of completion and closure of the wound. It's like it's like a great coda, a great ending to the franchise. But no, yeah, Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Lucy McClane is just just in it for the beginning and the end. And it's a father-son romp through Russia with subtitles, and the dialogue is really bad. One of the villains in the movie, who's one of the henchmen, says, "You know what I don't like about Americans?" And then Jack and John are like, "What?" "Everything. You know what I really don't like about Americans?" "Oh, I'm sure you're going to tell us." "Everything." And then he like eats an orange or some shit. It's just weird shit. Strange shit. Bizarre shit. So this movie doesn't work very well as a Russian spy thriller. Definitely not like Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. This is just awful. Yeah. There's so much Russian spoken. Yeah, I know they're going to Russia, but it's like I know some people say the breakout of the jail and the car chase is ridiculous. So a lot of people say, "Oh, well, the car chase is cool at least." Yeah, I mean it's kind of cool. It's all right. It's not the best action adventure car chase I've ever seen, but it's something. I guess I don't know the father son thing, the daddy issues. Oh. Yeah, Jai Courtney is a bad actor, but let's just not fault him to bear all the blame. The performance by Bruce Willis is bland. The script is bland. It's the person that they rescue turns out to be the villain, and that's supposed to be the big twist. But you kind of see it like a million miles away. And what is the plot? The Russian defectors want to take power in Russia by going to Chernobyl to get a nuclear weapon from a nuclear weapon from the Ukraine, from Chernobyl. Yeah, I think is that what they want to do? It's Russia. I don't know. Let's try to do funny Russian jokes, funny Russian West, East meets West jokes. The cab driver that picks up John McClane, he loves New York and he loves American Frank Sinatra music, and he starts singing. And does it work as being funny? And then he's like, John McClane says, "I hate traffic." And then the Russian guy goes, I hate traffic. It's yeah, a really hot chick, who's the Russian chick, the daughter of the scientist guy, Yuri or something, that's going towards the sorry, the plot's really convoluted. I'm kind of lost. I could watch it again and again. and still be lost. It's like, what's going on? Who's double crossing who, and who's this guy, and what's the structure of the Russian government? And I don't know. This just seems like crap. And but the daughter has black leather, and she unzips, and she has a nice ass. And you're supposed to be kind of like, a woman with a nice ass. That's supposed to really, really sell it, like a woman in black leather stripping or unzipping or something. And a close up of their butt, like a Michael Bay movie. Yeah. And then it's like daddy issues. You never loved me. You never bought me a toy when I was 5. Fuck you, Dad. And you had to put up with that watching this movie. It's not very good. A lot of critics have complained that John McClane does not seem like John McClane. And also the action is even more cartoonish. And the CGI looks pretty substandard and pretty fake in this movie. A Good Day to Die Hard. So a lot of the problems that plagued Live Free or Die Hard, Die Hard 4, Die Hard 4.0 are present and even accelerated in this movie. And so it's a Die Hard movie in a foreign country, which sounds like a great idea on paper. Like, well, Americans really don't know a lot about Russia. It's like if you set a Die Hard movie in China, which I don't know how you could do that with the Chinese Communist Party. And I mean, yeah. I mean, a fictional movie, probably the Chinese government doesn't give a shit, but it just can't. But basically, with the Chinese Communist Party, People's Republic of China, you can probably film in their country if you get the right permissions, but nothing that you probably can't make, anti-Chinese propaganda films there. They'll probably let you do some action adventure, Mission Impossible, Die Hard type shit maybe. But as long as it doesn't badmouth the Chinese Communist Party or the People's Republic of China. So as long as it doesn't criticize the Chinese government, they're probably okay with it. As long as they get paid or get something out of it, right? Yeah. As long as it helps their economy or their military grow. They're probably on board with that, as long as you, don't rock the boat, as they say, and but it's, I'm not saying that Die Hard movies, they shouldn't go to other countries, but this was executed very poorly. It was done very badly. Instead of seeming like an exciting, exotic adventure to a foreign adversarial country, like a Mission Impossible movie, it seemed boring, drab. The colors are boring, drab. There's no life to this movie. It's just got a boring color palette to it, an unappealing, boring. I mean, it's just darkness, bad weather, gray, just blues and grays, and just monotone conformity. It's just awful. So it's a terrible way to to end the Die Hard franchise. And unfortunately, we couldn't get a Die Hard 6 to make it right because of the aphasia of Bruce Willis, the brain disorder that he has, the dementia, the strange dementia, form of dementia that he has. So anyways, a really terrible ending, a terrible conclusion to the Die Hard franchise. And so John and his son put together, Jack and John, they put aside their differences to save the day and stop the evil Russian terrorists. And they reunite, they get back in America, and they reunite with Lucy McClane. And they might say, oh, let's go see Holly or something, maybe. Let's go see Mom, or maybe they say something like that. I'm not sure. I haven't rewatched it in a while. It's disappointing to have a disappointing Die Hard movie. You never expect that a Die Hard sequel would be better, than Die Hard, the original from 1988, but you never think it'll just be like really, really horrendous either. You never thought it was going to be Shakespeare poetry, but you never thought it was going to be refined masterpiece. But you thought at least it was going to be good enough to enjoy. And this one was one of the first unenjoyable Die Hards, I think. And so it sucked. It's true. The critics and the audiences are correct. It does suck. It's pretty lame. It's bland. Why it's like that, I don't know. And why the studio did not deliver on what the fans really wanted, or tie into more successful Die Hard films, or bring back interesting older characters, or make interesting new characters. Why is there a lot of Russian spoken with subtitles? Why? Yeah, that's a good question. Why? What is? I mean, I know you'd bring back Die Hard to make money, but it does seem like it was a script for a different movie, and they keep finding action scripts for different movies. And 20th Century Fox was just lazy, and they're like, hey, let's do a Die Hard movie, and they just slap the Die Hard movie on it, and that they can't come up with an original premise or a great story, or create if it was going to be the final, maybe they didn't know it would be the final Die Hard movie, but they didn't know, the condition of Bruce Willis and how fast he would deteriorate with the dementia and all that. I mean, they didn't have a crystal ball, they couldn't see the future, but that they delivered such a movie that was just so convoluted, and it was so poorly written, and so poorly acted. It's shocking. I never expected Die Hard movies to win Oscars, but or win awards for writing or for acting. But what they delivered was shockingly mediocre, and it was unnecessarily convoluted. It was a mess, and so don't go into Die Hard, A Good Day to Die Hard, with high expectations, because it's not going to reach heights that the other films did previously. And so it definitely was showing not just the fatigue of Bruce Willis, but it was showing the fatigue of kind of like the end. It was showing that the studios, 20th Century Fox, had ran out of ideas, and they didn't want to provide a story to properly close out the franchise in a satisfying way to fans and newcomers alike. It was a movie that was not entertaining, and that's a crime. If you're making movies, the crime is to not make a movie entertaining or engaging, and so it's a failure. It's okay. It's passable. It's like I can't say that I hate it with all my heart. It's just sometimes the crime is not making a bad movie. A lot of times the crime is making a mediocre movie. So sometimes that's more offensive. And so when you make something half-ass, that's when it can really sting. So I'd give it like, the critics gave it 2 out of 4 stars. It's a passable movie. You could get through it, but it's not by any means it's not by any means good. So it's just kind of filling up space, and that's about it. And sadly, that's not the way I wanted to see the Die Hard franchise go out, because other franchises are going to go out with a bang. Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, Mission Impossible 8. And that's going to go out with a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, badass, ending. But unfortunately, Die Hard went out with a whimper. when it should have went out with a bang, dang, orangutan. Oh, well. Yeah. There's not a next time because it's over. But so that's my 5 hard reviews. And may Bruce Willis get better. Maybe he'll be able to, I don't know if he'll be able to act again, but hopefully he has a great, solid retirement with his family. And yeah, God bless and best of success. And oh, yeah, to going towards 2025. Thanks for watching. Peace.